Halo! What's going on, everybody? My name is Homebomb, and it is time. My official Halo 5 review. A lot of people have been asking for this. Like, what are my feelings, what are my opinions about this new Halo game? Because I've played every single Halo since I was born, and this is another one. So, are we good? Is the new Halo game good? Well, stay tuned and I'll tell you all about it. Now, the things I say in this video will be my thoughts as a player and a lover of Halo. You know, I'm not educated as a game developer or journalist or anything, it's just gonna be me here. Halo 5 Guardians. I thought we'd start off with checking out where we have come from, Halo-wise. So I drew a little graph, haven't done that since high school. So we're starting off this history lesson here with the first game, of course, and that was such a good game. A lot of people seem to have made love to Halo 1, and I'm one of them. And as we went on, it was just getting better and better. Halo 2, magic, a lot of magic right there. And let me tell you, Halo 3 changed my life personally, maybe it did to you as well. I feel like every person in my class, every person in my society had to have Halo 3, else they weren't cool. You know, it was like a part of being a human. I don't know what happened, but Halo 3 was like the game back in the day. It's crazy, and it is still to this day probably one of my most favorite games. And then after that, Bungie tried to do something a little bit different with Halo Reach, and it seemed like the entire community and the hype about Halo really went downhill for some reason. I mean, I love the game, a lot of people still love the game, but some aspects seem to have gone a little bit wrong there. And then, you know, 343 took over, made a little Halo 4 there. Some weird stuff happened and we went down a little bit. But then, oh boy, what could possibly go wrong with the insanely miraculous game that would be Master Chief Collection? The good old Halos coming back in better quality, so many frames. But the launch of that game wasn't very beautiful, and what seemed to be something that couldn't fail really just brought us even lower, huh? And that is where we are today. 2015, Halo 5 has been out for 2 weeks. Is it good? Are we still keep going down, or are we going up in the Halo hype? How's the response here? What is the emotion about Halo 5 so far? Well, hopefully we can figure that out throughout this video. So I thought we'd start off talking a little bit about the sandbox of Halo 5, like what's new, what makes this game a little bit different than the earlier ones. So a big thing is of course the new movement that you control with your hands when you touch it. You can now clamber ledges, get up to things that you've never been seen before. There are abilities now built into every person, into their bare bones. Thrusters, which is an amazing ability. You could go in any direction, you could go in one direction if you want to. The thruster is like a game-changing ability, but it still works somehow. It feels really good. And another thing is the ground pound. You can smack people up, you can surprise people around the corners, you can fly across the globe, and you can even capture flags. Can you believe it? And there are a bunch of new weapons, which I'm really impressed that the new weapons they have made for Halo 5, they're all really clever. Like, they all do something unique and something that we would never seen before. I'm really digging the new guns they have made. But overall in Halo 5, the balancing is like so close to perfection. You can pick up any weapons that you would have previously thrown in the trash can. I'll find myself holding a suppressor, and I just feel silly holding it, but then a couple moments later, I'm on a killing frenzy, and I'm like, what is happening in this world? So let's jump into the gameplay experience. What do you get to do with all these tools, these great weapons, these abilities? Well, of course, there's the matchmaking. That's always been what you mainly do in Halo. And the matchmaking consists of the ranked arena, of course, and then there's the unranked or social war zone. Those are the main things you can do in the game. So for arena, there are specific maps made for that, 4 versus 4 gameplay, and I think they're all really like aesthetically pleasing. They are very unique thanks to all the new abilities they have to be, and overall I really like the maps. However, I really truly wish there were more of them. I feel like I could count the maps that exist in Halo 5 on one hand, which is not what I want. I would love there to be like another 10 maps. So, yeah, you're probably wondering what do I think about the arena? So when I got Halo 5, I got on and I was super excited. I'm like, wow, 10 qualifying matches. What rank am I gonna get? I'm gonna prove the world that I can be the best. And that energy and the motivation I had to play well in the beginning, the first week, that got me a pretty high rank. And I felt pretty good about myself. But then, you know, the next day I have to babysit my nephew and like I have a really rough day wiping diapers. And I get on Halo 5 at night. I don't see myself competing at that same level of play. So that's when the casual desires kicks in. And then there are basically no options. And that becomes kind of difficult because if I don't play to win, then I'm gonna have a really rough time and I'll probably end up going to sleep crying. And right there is a really crucial moment for me. Like, it's where something about Halo is lost in translation or whatever you say. Because in Halo, for me, my mentality is there's always something to do. There's always something different. Jump hit the Social Slayer, Team Sniper, something else. You can go into theater, take some screenshots, something a little bit more casual. So there isn't really that option right now. But with that said, Halo 5 has done something really amazing with like the out-of-the-box gameplay, because the game has always needed like a ton of tweaking before it's been like tournament ready and competitive. Like, it might sound like I'm hating on the arena, but no, the arena truly succeeds to do what it aims to do. It's satisfying to rank up, it's fun to win games against equally skilled players, and it really works well. But yeah, all this time you probably have been like, why aren't you playing Warzone, Halmom? And that's what I'm gonna talk about right now. Warzone. Freaking amazing 12 versus 12 type of big team with like 10 different objectives. You can choose what weapons you want to spawn with, you can choose where you want to spawn, and the entire concept of Warzone really works. And I think it's great the way it is. But, you know, I still miss my original big team battle, which they're adding this week. So the updates to Halo 5 already have proven to do so much for the game. But yeah, the reason why Warzone by itself can't really hold the social unranked part of Halo for me is that after playing it for like 2 or 3 hours, it gets kind of repetitive and you're really dependent on the requisitions, the packs that you open. I'm gonna talk more about that soon. And with there only being 3 maps, sometimes you play like the same map 5 times in a row if you get unlucky. I, at least personally, have like a desire for a little variation there. You know, if I was playing Halo 3 Sandtrap with my friends, every single game would turn out completely different because there are so many things to do there. Whereas in Warzone, even though there's a lot of potential and such huge maps, I feel like I never get to visit the beach. It's such a pretty beach. A big thing for me and a lot of other players in Halo is the medals and the multi-kills, and I think that the way they're showcased in Halo 5, I think they've misread what the community really wants there. I think a lot of people have been hating on the amount of medals in Halo, and I think by listening to those comments, they have sort of understood that people don't like medals at all. Because the announcer in Warzone specifically doesn't even announce the medals. I got a really cool multi-kill, but I don't get to hear it in my earlobes. Even in Arena, there are a bunch of other sounds and medals that might override the multi-kill and like replace it so that you never hear it, and it is not completely optimal. And on top of that, there is no like post-game screen where you can browse your medals that you got for that game, which is really strange to me. Like, that is such a main feature. I don't think I've ever finished a matchmaking game in Halo without looking at the medals I got. You know, I want to see, did I get that killing spree? What was my tool of destruction? Or how long was my longest spree? Did I get the perfection at all? Or... But of course, there is a post-game screen where you can see, KD and stuff, and there's some new statistics that is really cool to see, like damage dealt and accuracy in Arena. That's like perfect. I love it. Something that I haven't touched on at all so far in this video is the campaign, but I haven't even finished that yet, but so far I've just had an amazing time with my friends. A lot of vehicular action, everything you can expect out of a Halo campaign, Halo 5 has got it. Okay, let's move on to some more obscure things about Halo 5. Like, I spoke about it just then, but the requisitions in Halo 5 are so good. I think it's a great way to add another layer to the Halo experience, you know, with weapon skins, you have the one-time use for Warzone, which brings me back to that. In Warzone, the weapons despawn really quickly, which is kind of sad, because I worked hard on my rec packs, and then it just disappeared when I spawn in front of a ghost. It's kind of sad. A ghost. A ghost. after only like hours or days of playing, there are some main features that I expected to be in the game that aren't there. Maybe it's just my inner personal desire. Being able to record clips inside the theater mode and being able to share them, you know, a file share system. I feel like that was such a big thing in previous Halos. Making forge maps, recording clips, taking screenshots, putting them in like the Bungie's favorite back in Halo 3, like that was a big reason for bringing the community together. You know, I would go there, look at those screenshots, people who had built like huge wings out of weapons, taking a photo of it through an explosion with a cool effect. I was like, wow, you could do that in Halo? That's amazing! And somehow making everyone share that with each other sort of enhanced like the overall greatness of Halo, like the possibilities in the game. I truly believe that it's really important to bring that sort of stuff up to the surface. Like, that's what my entire YouTube channel is about. I want to make sure I capture everything in Halo and share the highlights of that. And I can imagine if every Halo player did that, there would be some really amazing moments to be seen. I don't know, but I really do feel like a file sharing system really connects the community of Halo players together in a ball. And another step forward for Halo 5 is all the settings you can change with the volumes and chat stuff and in-game stuff. I love that there's options for everything. I personally believe that everything should be optional. There should be a way to change the game the way you want it, you know? Customization feels good! Even the custom games in Halo 5 have some really funky settings which I can't wait to try out in like Forge Map, make some funny game types there. But yeah, overall, I think Halo 5 is just an amazing game. So much fun to play, very, very satisfying to do good in. Just when you hit that perfect medal, I'm just gonna tell you, it rings my bell, personally. And I think Halo 5 has so much potential, like it could be an overall, like, flawless experience with a couple updates and stuff like that. Because right now, only 2 weeks after release, it has a really, really high focus on the arena and the competitive gameplay. Which is fine, I mean, it's 2015, esports is a really big deal, and I think 343 is doing a really great thing focusing on that. But that is why Halo 3 will always be so special to me, because it had everything, you know? It managed to be competitive and have an endless pool of casual possibilities, and I hope Halo 5 can become that, at least a little bit. Because there's a thing I like to call the StarCraft 2 syndrome. I don't know if you guys followed StarCraft 2 at all. It's been a couple of years since its prime, but I have a really good friend who plays a lot of that game. He's been in tournaments and stuff, but that entire community sort of died down as the years went on. Even me, who barely played the game, I followed that community. I followed the tournaments. I loved watching that game, but something happened, like somehow interest for that game just died down. And my friend has explained this in a way that when you get on StarCraft 2, the one thing the game wants you to do as a player is to go on the ladder, is to go into the ranked playlist, try to beat players, try to get better, try to get a higher rank. Like, that is the sole purpose of StarCraft 2. My friend described it as there's no option for any new players. You have to just go into this super competitive world and put your own skill on the line every single game. There's a lot of pressure there in order to win. And while that can be fun, you know, to win a couple games, feel good about yourself, you're doing the right stuff, some days you start losing and you won't have as good of a time. You're gonna lack incentive to play the game because it just becomes frustrating and boring, and after all, it's a video game. Sometimes you would just want to lean back and have a good time. And as of right now, today, I feel like Halo 5 has a little bit of that in it. I'll start up my console and I'll get into the arena and I realize that I do not have the energy to win right now or want to win right now. And because I got such a high rank in the beginning, I realized that trying really hard to win is just not something I want to do every single game. But the whole StarCraft 2 syndrome thing is like, there are no other options. But, you know, I have faith. There might be updates where social playlists are added and all of these problems are sort of fixed for me and I'll be a healed person once again. I don't know if all the thoughts and words that I've spoken out in this video so far have made much sense or come together in a good way, but if I were to put it all into one main point that you guys can take with you from how I feel about Halo 5 and Halo in general, is that I want there to be a Halo game that is the game. For example, on my Xbox 360, I have 3 games bought in 8 years. I have Halo 3, Halo Reach, and Halo 4. Those are my 3 games. I don't need any other games, and that's what I love about Halo, that it has such like a variety of experiences and gameplay, that the sandbox is so huge that I'll always be thirsty for more. My biggest wish, and I think a lot of people share this with me, is that I want the Halo game. Not just a 2 or 3 month game or thing. I want a Halo that I'll never have to replace, or even want to replace. A timeless Halo. That's the game I want. A game so filled with content and replayability that once I have that game, I won't ever want to replace it. I feel like that should be the goal with every Halo game, because that is what the first Halos was to a lot of people. It was in many ways flawless. But in the game industry today, it feels like that is so hard to come across, because there's so much pressure on deadlines and release dates. You have to release the game then, and video games sort of get released unfinished or lacking a lot of functions or things that we'd all love to see in the game. Maybe I want way too much in a Halo game, I don't know, because I know 343 worked their butt off on this game. There's probably hundreds of people involved in Halo 5, and they really got so far on the way. But off of the first 2 weeks of playing this game, I feel like they just fell off short of being the Halo game. They might become that if the content updates that are coming out are gonna do the things that we're hoping for, maybe add unexpected things that might change everything. Then of course, I fully believe in the potential of Halo 5. But yeah, I just want everything, you know what I mean? I want hammers, I want plasma grenades on the map, I want firefight, I want griffball, I want symmetrical maps with 2 snipers on them, I want a file sharing system, I want all of these things in one huge package, and I want that game to be called The Halo. And then maybe I can make a video called This is the Halo, you know, that'd be great. But if that doesn't happen with Halo 5, I truly hope that it will happen with Halo 6, because I really think it can happen. I would rate Halo 5 a really strong 9 out of 10. It's one of the better video games I've ever played, but for it to get that 10 out of 10, I want new ways of using the sandbox, you know? I want racetracks, I want parkour, matchmaking, I want minigames, action sack, and I want a lot of time invested into this. I want forgers in the community to be rewarded for spending like a lot of time making these awesome maps. When I start up my Halo game, I want it to be like a society, like a world, bubbling with content and new things every day, because I think it really can be all of those things. Whew. At the end of the day though, only seeing it as a competitive console FPS video game, it is probably the best I've ever played. And for that, I am super excited to see what the future updates and all the tournaments will do to this game. It'll probably bring out, and it already has, like amazing moments. But yeah, I would enjoy a couple more cones placed on the maps, maybe even a cone emblem, possibly. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching this video of me just talking a lot about Halo. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this can start like a conversation. If you have any thoughts, please leave comments down below, and I'll probably make a follow-up video on this as well. So leave your comments. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll catch you later.